Hello and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions. We combine all this information and we put it to good use as a community of English-speaking locals living here in Puerto Vallarta, along with those of you that have a special place in your heart for Puerto Vallarta that are living elsewhere, and those of you, no shade, that find the temperature at present time a little bit too hot to bear. It's okay. It's okay. We all come in different shapes and preferences. So if you have flocked away from our heat, I wouldn't hold it against you. We have news today about those people that don't seem to mind it all that much, and we'll share that in a little while. But first, it is Monday, May 22nd. It is great comments already. I love it. It is a great day to get together. As always, we welcome everyone that is joining us for the first time as special guests. If that is your case and you're watching live for the first time, please write the word new in your comment. We'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. For the rest of us, it's always a pleasure to get together with you. It's a pleasure to share our broadcast with those of you that watch later on YouTube. We appreciate your likes and your follows and your subscriptions. And of course, for those of you who have something special to share, we appreciate the fact that you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, because that means we're going to pay special attention to what you're saying, such as the case of Jaime Mendez that says, has anyone been to La Cruda Realidad restaurant in Versalles, which is a great name. I have not been, but I love the name because La Cruda Realidad means the real truth. Cruda means, in this context, it means the tell me like it is, tell it like it is, the real truth. But the word cruda is the word that we use for hangover in Spanish. So I wonder if La Cruda Realidad restaurant serves special food for hangover. If anybody's been there, please let us know. Here's another cue. For example, Chris is saying, flights are booked for our return to paradise arriving December 23rd. Good for you. We'll be happy to react to that comment. And so it goes. If you have something that's really important that you wish to share with everyone, please add a capital letter Q. And we'll be looking for those during the comments section in a little while. But first, of course, let us take a quick look at our news, which are important. Our city's summer weather, as I was mentioning, is not for everyone, and definitely not for those people that flock north of the border as soon as things get sweaty, literally. But this is not deterring national tourism from enjoying our destination, and according to statistics from the state's tourism secretary, the numbers are on the rise. And this is good when you consider there are people out there that claim our city is dead in the summer. It isn't. It is very much alive in different ways that are quite lovely for some. And not to whine or complain or anything, but perception is everything. And there is a very subtle but very important difference between Puerto Vallarta shifting to a different groove during the summer months and all those people that claim, oh no, I would never get close to Puerto Vallarta in the summer because everybody's gone and the city is dead. Not true. Not true. We're very much here and we're very much alive and we're very much dealing with the city and enjoying it exactly the way it is. So Seapal took machinery to Mismaloya in an effort to tap into the Mismaloya River and collect much needed water for the region. And unfortunately, Seapal didn't think it was necessary to inform the local community of its activities. So the local community ran to Profepa, the National Attorney's Office for the Protection of the Environment. But apparently everything is in order and Seapal is acting lawfully. So they will go for a gentler approach and inform the population about its plans and projects to increase the amount of water captured from the river. Yes, it is worth noticing that Seapal, or worth noting rather, that Seapal already captures water from the Mismaloya River at a tune of 20 liters per second, and they are looking to increase that amount. Why the population in the Mismaloya River get restless? Well, because there have been unlawful attempts in the past years by private companies to construct dams and collect water in a less than lawful way. So if the Mismaloya residents were reacting to this, I'm not surprised, but fortunately, everything seems to indicate that Seapal has their papers in order. Moving right along, as new stretches of the new Guadalajara highway have opened to vehicular traffic, so have accidents increased. We just haven't reported it here. And now a number of reports seem to indicate that there are design flaws, from not enough tilt in the curves along the new highway to a lack of signs. And this seems to be causing an increase in accidents. All we can say here is drive carefully if you're driving along the new highway. And of course, we want to tell, this is really amazing to me. President Lopez Obrador has many critics, but when it comes to frugality, the numbers seem to prove him right. When it comes to his budget, the presidency spent 89.1% less money in 2022 than Enrique Peña Nieto's presidency spent in 2018. A report indicates all the areas in which the current administration has saved money, from leasing vehicles to attending unnecessary conferences abroad and much more. All of this resulting from President Lopez Obrador's insistence in austerity throughout the country. Is this ruffling feathers among those who think they are entitled to all kinds of privileges because they work for the government? You bet. And we've been talking lately about the Popocatépetl volcano's increased activity, and this weekend things got people very concerned. This past Saturday, the two airports in Mexico City were forced to suspend operations for almost 6 hours due to electric storms caused by the ashes spewed by the volcano, and also to clean the landing strips in the airports. The airports have since then reopened, but the federal Secretary of Health is advising inhabitants of Puebla, Morelos, the state of Mexico, and Mexico City that are near the volcano not to expose themselves to the ashes that are being spread near the volcano, as they could harm lungs and eyes. And should people have to leave their homes, they should be wearing face masks and eye protection. A satellite from the European Space Agency captured this image where the volcano is seen spewing at large amounts of ash. According to official numbers, the volcano has had 31 events in the past 24 hours, along with 6 explosions. Now, is this a reason for concern? Yes and no. The volcano has been active for many, many decades. And there are times in which the volcano gets uglier, but the world is not coming to an end. And let us just hope that the volcano doesn't get any more eloquent than it already is. We'll keep you tuned. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. I'll put it on my screen. And Snarky Weatherman says, when I torture you, would you rather be stuck inside an Iron Maiden or a brazen bull? I have no idea what this relates to, but I can tell you that it is now 29 degrees with humidity at 62%, and it is 85 degrees Fahrenheit out there. The weather forecast for today indicates that we will have mostly clear skies in the morning with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon, with a high of 32 and a low of 21. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be humid with mostly clear skies, but a few clouds may be wandering around in the afternoon with a high of 32 and a low of 20. Wednesday, we'll have clear skies in the morning with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon with a high of 32 and a low of 19. Very little chance of rain between now and then, so it is what it is. Now, moving right along, I have great news that I read this morning. Thanks to our friends at Banderas News, we learned that a summer mariachi festival is coming to town from June 27 to July 1st. The festival will celebrate Mexican mariachi music, culture, and tradition through a series of performances, dance events, workshops, and cultural displays. There is an official website that includes detailed information of all the scheduled activities, including both a free concert at the Malecón and also a paid concert at the International Convention Center. This should be a lot of fun. I took a quick look at the website, and it looks very well put together. The website was only in Spanish, though, unfortunately, but there could have been a button, and I simply missed it. Now, I want to get you up to speed in some governmental drama, which has me just laughing. First, we told you about how the artistic aquatic team, I don't know what the term is in English, but those people, synchronized swimming, that's what I'm trying to say. Mexico's synchronized swimming team went to a meet in, I think it was Egypt. They came back with with gold and bronze medals, and everybody was really happy about this. And AMLO, Mexico's President López Obrador, claimed in one of his morning press conferences that the Mexican government had financed the trip. But then the competitors themselves came forth and said, oh, no, we were financed by, I think it was the Telmex Foundation or some foundation out there, which put the president of Mexico's in an awkward situation. Well, I want you to meet Ana Guevara, who is a former Olympic track record holder, and she now leads Mexico's National Sports Commission and does not necessarily have a completely wonderful track record. Things got ugly when Ana Guevara, who oversees the agency, reacted poorly to inquiries by the press, stating that the competitors did receive support from her agency, that they were lying, and that they could keep up selling swimwear and Tupperware online for all she cared. Not very nice, because apparently the team had been trying to raise money on their own by selling swimsuits and by selling Tupperware out there, which is, it's not dishonest. It's not something to be embarrassed of. And so Ana Guevara was not a nice person when she said these things. Even López Obrador said she was out of line. Well, now Tupperware and other agencies are taking advantage of the situation and trying to find ways to support the athletes. Of course, there's nothing shameful about selling Tupperware. And of course, President López Obrador claims that this is the act of his political detractors who are now coming forward to support the athletes. And this reminds me of what happened with that gay couple that was trying to get married at the Sheraton Hotel here in Puerto Vallarta, and how the Sheraton said, no, we don't do gay marriages. And I've told that story before, but if you want to hear it again and you don't know what it was about, that was also very shady. All you have to do is write the word Sheraton in your comment, and I'll be happy to fill you in. And now I'm going to try something I haven't tried here before. And I'm going to try to do this without rehearsal. So let's go at it. You're going to see a logo and an intro that is going to be new to you, and I'll explain this when I'm done. Oh, wait a second. Let me try that again because I want to do it in one take. Hold on. I want to do this in one take. So every time I do a music appreciation presentation, there is always the two things happen. First of all, I end up going through all kinds of wonderful rabbit holes when I'm trying to do my research. And invariably, there are songs for any given presentation that end up in the cutting room floor just because we don't have time to present everything. And for the last one, which had to do with Bossa-Nova, there were a few songs that I would have loved to talk about, but there was simply not enough time. We started by saying that João Gilberto is considered one of the two founders of the Bossa-Nova movement, next to Antonio Carlos Jobim, and that it all started with Gilberto's debut album, which was released in July 10, 1959. And we also wrapped up our presentation mentioning how he spent his latter years touring with just his guitar before passing in 2019, one day short of his debut album release anniversary, which was 61 years prior. Now, in 2000, João Gilberto released an album that featured him playing acoustic guitar. After a decade of not recording very much, I remember discovering this album at Tower Records in Boston, when you would go into the famous record store, wear headphones at headphone stations, and try to shop for music that you were not familiar with. And I heard the album, and I immediately fell in love with his very, very central, very quiet voice and just the guitar accompaniment. And one of the songs caught my attention because he sang it in Spanish. It was called Eclipse, which of course means eclipse. And the song was composed by Margarita Lecuona, a Cuban mezzo-soprano singer and songwriter responsible for composing more than 300 songs, including Babalu, which was made famous by Desi Arnaz, who later on went on to play Lucy's husband in her television show, I Love Lucy. But I digress. She composed more than 300 songs. Eclipse is a bolero, which is a genre of song that originated in Cuba in the 19th century and quickly became quite popular in Mexico and the rest of Latin America. We don't know when the song was composed, but there is a version of her singing her own song on YouTube, which was digitized from an old 78 RPM record, and 78 RPM records were discontinued in the late 60s, so the recording was probably from the first half of the 20th century. We also don't know when João Gilberto became acquainted with the song, but he featured it in a 1970 LP that he recorded in Mexico after his landmark recording with Stan Getz in the United States. In the liner notes for that album, João Gilberto mentioned that he had come to Mexico for a few days in 1970 for the World Soccer Cup. And he ended up staying in Mexico for a few years. So he recorded a few beautiful songs composed by Mexican composers, including Bésame Mucho. But in that album, he included Eclipse. And before I tell you what the lyrics are about, and that's the whole point of this little conversation, is I want to ask you a question. Do you know those times in which you are not sure if the other person loves you anymore? Or maybe you've had a disagreement and you're feeling at odds, or maybe the whole thing is over. But the bottom line is you are not sure if your love is being reciprocated. Well, that is what Eclipse, the song, is about. And I would love to show you the lyrics, tell you the lyrics, and then translate them. So the first verse, there are 3 verses in total. The first verse says, Eclipse de luna en el cielo, ausencia de luz en el mar, sufriendo de amargo desvelo, mirando la luna, me puse a llorar. And that translates to eclipse of the moon in the sky, absence of light in the sea, suffering from bitter sleeplessness, and looking at the moon, I started to cry. The second verse says, pensaba que ya no me amabas con honda desesperación, y es algo que siempre eclipsaba la luz de tu amor. I thought you no longer loved me with deep desperation, and it's something that has always eclipsed the light of your love. And then the first verse is repeated, and then the third verse says, eclipse de amor en tus labios que ya no me quieren besar, quisiera olvidar mis agravios y luego soñar. And that translates to eclipse of love on your lips that no longer want to kiss me. I wish to forget my grievances, and then I wish to dream. Denial, my friends, denial. I will share links to the composer's version on YouTube, and I will share a Spotify link to João Gilberto's 2000 version, which is still my favorite. And also, not surprisingly, I found out in my research that Mexico's Natalia Lafourcade has also rescued the song and recorded it in the last few years. And I'll share a link to all of that as well. And this is just a little gift from the music editing room. As you know, our next music appreciation lecture will have to do with music plagiarism. And I'm already deep in the rabbit hole for that. And this brings us to our chit-chat section. And that went well. That went well. Thank you very much. Let me tell you what just happened. What just happened is I am resurrecting my music-specific page on Facebook. And what I'm going to do is every time I bring to you music-related nuggets like this one, I'm going to put it over there. I'm going to edit it from the broadcast so that those people that are just interested in music can go and find these specific video clips over there. So thank you for indulging me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you will enjoy the music as much as I do. Lots of good mornings as always. Happy Pride, says Gary. Well, happy Pride, absolutely. This is the week. Let's see what we have. Bill. Oh my goodness, Bill, you know, I don't have absolute power, and we do have a taco date pending. Please be patient with me. It's been a whirlwind, but I hope things are well at the bakery. I hope you are doing great. Let's see. Oh, I already read that cue. Thank you very much. Da 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 da. This doesn't have a cue, but it's a good point. If you watch the live webcams, there is a buzz of people. Yeah, for those people that keep saying, "Oh no, Puerto Vallarta dies in the summer month," I wish you had insomnia so that you could think about the consequences of your statements. But that's just me. Actually, that's Luna. Let's see. There's a cue. We stayed for our first April this year. Several things we noticed. It's nice to have the long sunlight days. The Mismaloya River didn't flow into the ocean for part of March and all of April. River flow is down then, I'm told. don't know where more water will come from without a big dam structure being constructed. Let me tell you what I experienced, Chris. See, people take water from the river. This is constitutionally allowed. And there's a big difference between what the river does down by the coast and the amount of water that one might find up in the mountains. So if you don't see water by the time you get, by the time the river gets to the beach, it's because people are taking water from it at higher points. Whether this is happening lawfully or unlawfully with consequences to the environment or not, that is the question. So that's about as much as I know about the topic. So please indulge me if it's vague and not very accurate. Let's see. Oh, wow. See, sometimes I wish I could interact with you in real time, because this comment caught my attention. Wow, we usually learn of these events after they happen, and I'm just really curious of which event was going through your mind, Sean, but no big whoop. Let's see. My husband wants to have our wedding vows renewed in Puerto Vallarta on July 6th. I told him it's going to be hot as hell, and that his mascara is going to melt, but he doesn't care. He booked it anyways. It's okay. We have mascara parties. It's all lovely. It's all lovely. And there's you naughty people. Sherry says Sheraton. Kathleen says Sheraton. Look at all of you. I'm going to gladly repeat the story. And Gary, who seems to remember, says the Sheraton was quite messy. Okay, the Sheraton story goes like this. Let me start again. So this very lovely gay couple, I'm sure, approached the Sheraton and said, well, we are a gay couple. We want to get married. We want information about getting married at the Sheraton. And the Sheraton responded, we don't do gay weddings here. Go to another hotel. I'm sure they did it very nicely, or I hope they did it very nicely, but this was enough for this gay couple to be offended and making a public statement and saying, well, the Sheraton is not wanting to have our gay wedding. What are we going to do? And of course, this happened not too long after the Sheraton had made a big to-do over the fact that they celebrated the wedding between two Chihuahua dogs. So that doesn't look very good, does it? You know, the Sheraton will marry Chihuahua dogs, but not a gay couple. So when this whole thing went viral, several hotels in town took a look at it, and they said, you know, we will be so very happy to hold your wedding for you. And I believe the Hilton Hotel ended up coming up with a very public proposal to hold the wedding free of charge for the couple. So that's exactly what happened. Have we set foot at the Sheraton Hotel after that? Well, not particularly. We haven't been there. It is a shame that they had such a response. I suppose a hotel is entitled to their own choices when it comes to whose wedding they're going to hold or not hold. Was it handled properly at the time? Nope. Has the hotel learned anything new? We certainly hope so. And that was the Sheraton story. Question, what is the Facebook page called that has your music notes? It is called Paco Ojeda on Music. I will be happy to share the link in the show notes. Again, it has seen next to no activity in the last 4 years, but we are resurrecting it. We will continue to include music information here, of course. Frank says that was nothing about João. Quite informative. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Again, it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. Paco, can we make music requests for someone we would like to know more about? Of course you can, John. If I am able to find out information about a particular singer or performer or music-related topic, I would be so very happy to do some research. please just let me know. Let's see what else we have. Oh, Mariachi Festival. Well, Sean, it is great news, isn't it, that we are learning about this with some anticipation. Again, I'm always excited that that some organizations are getting more proactive at communicating their events. I did receive a message this weekend from someone who was hoping to promote something that was going to happen only 2 days after the fact. And I told them, well, that's not a lot of advance notice, so there's very little I can do for you. And once again, I suggested use a Facebook page. My eyes continue to roll in all kinds of directions whenever I find that people in this day and age, with so much information available out there, are still at a loss at how to effectively promote events and things like that. But I am always happy to help to the extent that one can help in those situations. I am thinking of a workshop, a seminar, or something, I don't know. But at the same time, I am mindful that the number of people organizing events within our cluster must be very small. Otherwise, more people like you would be interested in this, and I don't see much interest here. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. This brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you very much for joining me in this lively Monday. Thank you very much for indulging my big music thing. I will edit it, or copy it from today's broadcast and put it in the other website. And I will gladly let you know what the address is for the Paco Ojeda on Music page on Facebook. Thank you. Thank you. As always, have a great week. Stay cool, stay nice, stay connected, stay in touch. Find a swimming pool, find an awesome day pass, and share the news with the rest of us. And I will see you again soon.